how to decide between a load fund and a no-load fund. A no-load fund is a mutual fund that doesn't have a front-end or back-end commission. The no-load fund has a number of very positive aspects to it. First, comparative to the load funds, which just to review very quickly are the mutual fund shares A, B, and C. All right, they have a front load, they have a back load. So for the no-load funds, the performance is actually very comparable. You can't say, well, I'm paying a commission for the load funds, but over time the performance is better and I'm going to make more money. And no, the performance is comparable. So there is no difference in performance between a load fund and a non-load fund. The other thing that's comparable is the management fees. You might hear someone say 12B1 fees. That's basically just the management fees. That's what it costs you for them to manage that mutual fund on an annual basis. So that's also comparable. And of course, there's no front or back end commission. All right, so let's just summarize really quick. What do we have so far? There's no front or back end commission. The management fees, more or less comparable, and the performance, more or less comparable. Okay, so what are the weaker aspects of the no-load funds? Well, with the no-load funds, you're basically going to be housing your portfolio within that specific mutual fund company. All right, so you're going to have one company. Let's say you have 7 different mutual funds. Large cap growth, mid cap value, small cap value, alternative, fixed income long-term, fixed income short-term. You have 7 different funds. All those different funds all have to be from the same fund family. For most investors, not a problem. For the more savvy investors, the funds are graded by stars. It could be anywhere from 1 star, which is the lowest, to 5 star, which is the highest. Some fund families have very good, say as an example, large cap growth, mid cap value, but they might not be known for their fixed income. Other mutual fund companies might have very good fixed income, a very good balanced fund, but there are other funds, not so much. So what happens is if you want to just go with one particular fund family, some funds might be very strong, some might be average, some funds might not be that great. So that's one of the drawbacks. But again, for the average investor, probably not a big deal. Another drawback, but again, depending on what you need, if you want a lot of hand-holding, you want a lot of advice, if you're someone who's very busy and doesn't have a lot of time to stay on top of your portfolio, maybe someone who helps you manage it might be better for you, in which case the no-load funds might not be the best fit. Why? Well, as I said before, a mutual fund company has a bunch of mutual funds, and let's say their top fund is a 5-star fund. Well, the reason it's a 5-star fund is, for example, let's say they have an excellent manager of that fund. Well, like everywhere else, mutual fund managers sometimes go on to brighter pastures. So if that mutual fund manager retires or goes to another fund company, that 5-star fund that you bought today, 2 or 3 years from now, might be a 3-star fund because they have a different manager. So you always need to keep on top of what those funds are doing. If that's not you, if you're not someone who likes to just from time to time look at your portfolio, see how it's changed, make sure that there's still top rated funds, again, the no-load funds might not be for you. Benefits of the load funds. Yeah, obviously you're paying that front-end commission, but you're dealing with a financial professional, and that person might be able to steer you towards a more well-balanced group of funds in your portfolio. Let's say one of the benefits is you have 7 different mutual funds in your portfolio. All 7 mutual funds might be from different fund families. So you can have 7 different mutual fund families, all within your same portfolio. Whereas with the no-load funds, can't do that. So what's right, what's wrong? Completely up to you. If you're someone who likes to do your own research, if you're someone who does not need a lot of hand-holding and can pick and choose your own funds, maybe the no-load fund is better for you, right? You don't have the upfront commission, front end, back end. Same, more or less, management costs you're going to pay on an annual basis, and the performance, more or less the same, but between the different funds. So as far as the actual funds themselves, as long as you can do the research and you feel comfortable, maybe the no-load fund is better for you. When is the load funds better? Well, if you want a little more hand-holding, if you want someone to talk to, if you want advice from someone, and you want that diversity of funds, then the loaded funds might be better for you. Now within the loaded funds, which particular fund might be better for you as far as share class? That I've already posted 2 separate videos. The first video is just explaining mutual funds in basic language. The second video is explaining the different share classes A, B, and C, so you might want to take a look at those as well. So I gave you a lot of information. Hope this was helpful. As always, you take care.